Welcome back, brethren. We're going to continue our study of the Epistle of Romans of the Apostle Paul to the Romans. And we are in chapter 7. And the first part of the study, we focused on whether the law is sin. Is the law sin? And we focused on that because people take the Apostle Paul's writings to mean that. They take the Apostle Paul's writings to mean, well, the law is sin. Therefore, we got to get rid of that evil law because that's what's causing us to be accused of sin. When the truth is, the problem is not the law. The problem is us. We are anti-law by nature. We are anti-law by nature. And so because of that, the problem is not the law, the problem is us. So therefore, the Most High has to make an arrangement whereby we would be brought back into harmony with the law of the Most High. Okay, so he does that through Messiah. So that Messiah lives perfect righteousness as a man born of a woman. He lives perfect righteousness without sin. And he is the only being that ever did that. And he is the only being ever born of a woman that is the Most High's prophet, the Most High's high priest, and the coming king of the coming kingdom. He is the only man ever that is that and will ever be. And so that is the solution to our sin problem. The solution is Messiah, who came and born of a woman and in human flesh lived without sin. Lived without sin and suffered a penalty of death, though he was innocent, taking on himself the sin of his people, Israel. Being resurrected from the dead because he is perfect in righteousness. As Peter said, it is impossible for death to hold him. Being resurrected from the dead by the Father, brought into position as a high priest from being the sacrifice for sin. So now he's the sacrifice for sin. Prior to that, he is a sinless human being. Okay, he becomes the sacrifice for sin. After becoming the sacrifice, he is resurrected from death. So now he has overcome sin and he has overcome death. That's not all, though. Many Christians talk about, well, that Jesus paid it all. No, it's not just that. If Messiah was not the next phase, which is the high priest, we could not be saved. If we have no high priest, we could not be saved. So he becomes now a sinless human being. He becomes then the sacrifice for the sins of his people. He becomes then the resurrection from death. Then he becomes the high priest, which means for us, he's representing to us the Father. And to the Father, he's representing to the Father us. So that he's the Son of Man and the Son of Yah at the same time. He brings the messages from the Father as the Son of Yah. He brings mercy to us as the Son of Man. Without that, we could not be saved. If everything else happened, if he paid the penalty for sin, if he was born of a woman, lived sinless, paid the penalty, put to death and resurrected, but we had no high priest, we could not be saved. We need someone between us and the Father that will allow us to receive the spirit of righteousness. That is the high priestly ministry of Messiah. Without it, we could not be saved. Then comes the last part where he's finished his high priestly ministry and he has caused us through that ministry to receive perfection so that we're counted righteous by the Father. Then the last part, he returns to redeem us. Without the last part, no flesh could be saved. And that's what he said, except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. So we need all aspects of what the Father has set up for us to be redeemed and restored to sinless state in the kingdom. That's the object here, for us to be redeemed and restored to our sinless state. Why? Adam was in a sinless state when he was created. There was no sin on Adam. He was created in the Father's image. There was no sin on him. There was no sin on the earth. So that the Father is now going to restore what the Bible calls in Acts the restitution of all things. So he's going to restore the earth to its sinless state and restore us on the earth to our sinless state. And in order to make that happen, we need all the aspects of Messiah. We need all the aspects of Messiah. We needed him to be born of a woman, come through the womb like any other man. We needed him coming through the womb to live perfect righteousness. He's the second Adam, which means he's the son of man, born of a woman, and he's the son of Yah, divine nature of the Father's spirit. His father, the seed, is the spirit. So he's of the Father's spirit, son of Yah, and he's son of man. That's what we needed. He lives on the earth in divine spirit by the Father's grace, perfect righteousness. He is put to death for the sins of his people. He allows himself to be put to death. He gives his life. He said to our fathers, you don't take my life. He said, I lay it down. He said, I lay it down and I take it back because this I received from my Father. Okay? And that's what he did. He laid it down and he gets it back from his Father. We needed that. So now perfect righteousness come through a human being. So now divine spirit come through a human being. And now the overcoming of death comes from him and the resurrection from the dead. Then the high priestly ministry comes from him so that he is son of man and son of Yah at the same time because he was born of a woman and he's of divine nature. So now he covers both of that so that we, you and me, can be perfected. Then once we are perfected due to that high ministry, that high priestly ministry, once we are perfected, he comes and redeems us and take us back and bring us to a kingdom without sin and without death. Okay? So he puts to death all sin. He destroys death itself. He destroys the Babylon kingdom so that it would never come back, nor be mentioned, nor be remembered. And he creates a new kingdom that was supposed to be the kingdom that Adam had. But now through the second Adam, through the whole process created by the Father, he sets it up again. And we are partakers of that kingdom. Okay? And so there's a close connection. There's a close connection between the Father, Messiah, his law, and us. There's such a close connection between the Father, Messiah, his law, and us that, let's go now, 1 Peter chapter 1. Let's remember about Peter, what most people don't bring up, but it's true. Peter was an apostle to the Hebrews. Even though he was the first one used to reach the Gentiles, he was the first person that was to teach a Gentile. It wasn't his ministry. That was just the initial reach out to the Gentiles. Paul was called as the apostle to the Gentiles. And Paul said in the book of Galatians, in fact, let's look at that. Galatians chapter 2. Galatians chapter 2. Let's take a look. Galatians 2. Galatians chapter 2. Let's read Galatians chapter 2, I'm going to start from verse 7, and I'm going to read from Galatians chapter 2, from verse 7 to verse 9. Okay, from verse 7 to verse 9. Galatians chapter 2, verse 7 to 9. But contrariwise, when they saw, listen now, that the gospel of the uncircumcision, that's to the Gentiles, was committed unto me, this is Paul speaking, as the gospel of the circumcision, that's the Hebrews, was unto Peter. So Paul was called to teach Gentiles. Peter was called to teach Hebrews of the Hebrew Messiah. Okay. Verse 8, for he that wrought effectually in Peter to the apostleship of the circumcision, the same was mighty in me toward the Gentile. See? And when James, Cephas, which is another name for Peter, and John, who seemed to be pillars, perceived the grace that was given me, they gave me and Barnabas, who was a Levite, the right hands of fellowship, that we should go unto the heathen and they unto the circumcision. So Peter, James, and John's ministry was for Hebrews. So when you're reading Peter's letter, it's to the Hebrews. When you're reading anything from John, it's to the Hebrews. James, it's to the Hebrews. Those epistles were not written to Gentiles. They were written for Hebrews. Paul's epistles were written specifically to reach Gentiles, of which we're reading one now in Romans. But when you're reading 1st and 2nd Peter, you're reading an epistle written specifically to bloodline Hebrews, not to Gentiles. Okay? Not that Gentiles shouldn't read it, but it wasn't written to them. It was written to Hebrews. So now we go to 1 Peter chapter 1. 1 Peter chapter 1. I'm going to read from verse 12. From verse 12. And notice the type of language Peter is using. He's using sanctuary, sacrificial language that a Hebrew would understand. Okay, so I'm going to start at verse 12, and I'm going to go from verse 12 down to verse 20. From verse 12 to verse 20. From verse 12 to 21. From verse 12 to 21. Okay. Unto whom it was revealed that not unto themselves, but unto us, they did minister the things which are now reported unto you by them that have preached the gospel unto you, with the Holy Ghost sent down from heaven, which things angels desire to look into. Wherefore, gird up the loins of your mind, and be sober, and hope to the end for the grace that is to be brought unto you at the revelation of Yahushua the Messiah. As obedient children, not fashioning yourselves according to the former lust in your ignorance, but as he which hath called you is holy, so be ye holy in all manner of conversation, because it is written, be ye holy, for I am holy. I'm going to show you where he's quoting that from. He said, as it is written. Whenever somebody in the New Testament says it is written, he's talking about the Old Testament. Always, 100% of the time. Whenever he's talking about it is written, he's talking about the Old Testament. Okay, so he says, it is written, be ye holy, for I am holy. Okay, and as ye call on the Father, who without respect of persons judges according to every man's work, pass the time of your sojourning here in fear. For as much as ye know that ye were not redeemed with corruptible things as silver and gold from your vain conversation, received by tradition of your fathers, but with the precious blood of Messiah, as a lamb without blemish and without spot, who verily was foreordained before the foundation of the world, but was manifest in these last times for you, who by him do believe in the Most High Yah, that raised him up from the dead and gave him glory, and your faith and hope might be in Yah. He's talking to Hebrews who would understand the sacrifice, what that means. And he's telling them, be holy, for your Father is holy. Where are you getting that from? That's in Leviticus. That's Leviticus. In fact, it's a couple of places Moses said it. Leviticus chapter 11 is one. Leviticus chapter 11. Leviticus chapter 11. Let's see. Oh man, now I can't find it. I know it's in here. Oh, here it is. Okay. Leviticus 11. I'm going to start at verse 44. Leviticus 11 from verse 44 to verse 47. Leviticus chapter 11, verses 44 to 47. For I am Yahweh your most high. Ye shall therefore sanctify yourselves, and ye shall be holy, for I am holy. Neither shall ye defile yourselves with any manner of creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. For I am Yahweh that bringeth you up out of the land of Egypt to be your most high. Ye shall therefore be holy, for I am holy. This is the law of the beasts and of the fowls and of every living creature that moveth in the waters and of every creature that creepeth upon the earth, to make a difference between the clean, the unclean, and the clean, between the beast that may be eaten and the beast that may not be eaten. He's teaching his people between what we should eat and what we should not eat. And he's equating that to holiness. And he says he's holy, so he wants us to be holy. Let's look at Deuteronomy also. Deuteronomy chapter 14. Deuteronomy chapter 14. Same Moses. Deuteronomy chapter 14. Look at verse 2. Deuteronomy chapter 14 and verse 2. For thou art a holy people unto Yahweh thy most high. Yahweh hath chosen thee to be a peculiar people unto himself, above all the nations that are upon the earth. He chose the Hebrews as what? A holy people. The word holy means sanctified or set apart. He has said, I am sanctified and set apart, and I want you to be sanctified and set apart because you are my people. Okay? That makes sense, brethren? So now you see that Father is holy, and he calls his people holy. Messiah is also holy and set apart. The Father's covenant is also holy and set apart. The Holy Covenant is called, they put it inside a place called what? The Ark of the Covenant, because it's holy. So now, they're all connected. The Father is holy. He's connected to the covenant. That's holy. It's connected to Messiah, who is holy, and to his people, who are to be holy, all connected as one. And that was Messiah's prayer in the Gospel of John, chapter 17. The Gospel of John, chapter 17. Gospel of John, chapter 17. Okay, Gospel of John, chapter 17. I'm going to begin at verse, I'm going to begin at verse, I'm going to start at verse 14. I'm going to start at verse 14, and I'm going to read from verse 14 down to verse 24. Gospel of John, chapter 17, from verse 14 to verse 24. I have given them thy word, and the world hath hated them because they are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. I pray not that thou shouldest take them out of the world, but that thou shouldest keep them from evil. They are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. Sanctify them through thy truth. Thy word is truth. Father called his word truth. That's the truth, right? So anything that's declared to be truth, if you are a follower of this here, it's got to be in harmony with this here, because this here is called truth. Sanctify, set them apart by your word. Your word is truth. So Holiness, truth, and the word are one. Messiah is called the Word made flesh. Let's continue reading. Sanctify them through thy truth. Thy word is truth. As thou hast sent me into the world, even so have I also sent them into the world. And for their sakes, I sanctify myself, that they also might be sanctified through the truth. That is through the word of the Most High. We are set apart by his word. Okay. Neither pray I for these alone, talking about his disciples, but for them also which believe on me through their word. That's us. That they all may be one. As thou, Father, art in me and I in thee, that they may be one in us, that the world may believe that thou hast sent me. And the glory which thou gavest me, I have given them, that they may be one, even as we are one. I in them, and thou in me, that they may be made perfect in one, and that the world may know that thou hast loved me as I have loved them, as thou hast loved me. Father, I will that they also, whom thou hast given me, be with me where I am, that they may behold my glory, which thou hast given me. For thou lovest me before the foundation of the world. So before the world existed, the Father loved his Son. And they have called for us to all be one with them. So as Father is holy in the Spirit, we are to be holy in the Spirit. As his covenant is holy in the Spirit, we are to be holy in the Spirit. We are to be one with the Father and the covenant and the Messiah. His word is holy, is set apart. Messiah became the word made flesh. Holiness. Okay? So let's just go over this one more time. I'm doing this for a reason. Father is holy. Messiah, one with the Father, is holy. The law of Father is holy. His word is holy. We are to be holy, which means we are to be one with the Father, one with Messiah, one with his word. If you subtract anything from that equation, you have nothing. So if you try to say, I'm only with Jesus, I don't know about this God that's so angry with me, you don't have nothing. If you say, this Jesus is not the Messiah, he was born, that's Joseph's son, you're not one with the Father. If you claim his law is done away with, you're not part of this equation. Father and Messiah are one. Messiah is not the Father, but the Spirit is holy between them. The covenant is perfect righteousness with them. It's a representative of them. It's word that's representative. Remember, brethren, how was the earth created? By the word of the Father. He spake, the Bible says, and it was done. He commanded, and it stood fast. He said, let there be light, and there was light. Let the earth bring forth, and it brought forth. Whatever Father says, everything in nature and in the universe works immediately to fulfill his desire. Immediately. Always. Okay? So word is very important. So when he says the word is holy, that's what he speaks. That's coming from him is holy. And when he speaks, he's saying, this is my son. He spoke that. This is my son. Holy. Done. He spoke from Mount Sinai, the covenant, holy. And he spoke it only to our fathers, holy. It's going to get done, whatever he says. It's automatic. That's why we know for a certainty, Satan and Satan and death and hell, it's going to be done because why? Father said it. That's all he needed to do was say it. And it's over. Everything in the universe is working in time and space to fulfill exactly what the Father said. It will never fail. Not his word, it's holy. So he has called us to holiness, one with himself. But the problem, of course, is sin. So because our father, Adam, sinned, we're all born in sin. We're born unholy. We're born prone. Even as a baby, the baby is going to be prone to sin. As it grows, it's going to be prone to sin. It's part of its human nature. Can't help it. None of us can. There is none good. So Messiah is put forth as the Father's word made flesh, holy. To be a sacrificial lamb, holy. To be brought forth from death, holy. And to intercede for us so that we can become holy. None of this happens of us. It's all of the Father. And it happens, and our responsibility is to use the only power we've been given, choice. That's the only power you and I have been given. We've been given the power of choice above all powers so that we can choose to receive the holiness of the Father. That's our choice. The majority earth don't want it. The majority earth don't want Father's holiness. What did the earth do? They took Messiah and made him into the image of man. They made him into a man-made religion. They took Messiah and they changed him to a people that he wasn't from. They took Messiah and they changed him and they separated him from his nation. Isn't that what they did? Like when Christians think of Messiah, they don't think of him as the Lion of the tribe of Judah, do they? They don't think of him like that. He's almost like a Gentile. That's how they think. They've changed his image. They've changed him. And it's not him at all. Because when you change Father's word, you don't have it anymore. Right? When you change his word, you don't have it anymore. So what did they do? They changed the word that was made flesh. They changed it. And they don't have him. They have something else that they made up. Okay? Father is calling his people, his bloodline people first, to be oneness with him. He makes that oneness happen through his only begotten Son. The Son of Man and the Son of Yah combined. He makes that happen through him. It is Father's design that we should become one with the Father from becoming one after we become one with his Son. And the Son takes us to introduce us back to our Father. That is the Father's design. And then we appreciate the holiness of the Father. We appreciate what he has done for us. We're thankful and we give praise to Father Yah because of what he's done for us. And then we become holy. Okay? That's the object. And we give praise and honor and glory to the Father forever and ever and ever, literally, because he has made us one. That is why, brethren, when you meet people that are in the faith of righteousness, when you meet people that are in the awakened part, as you all are, it's like you've been brethren for a long time. It's because the eternal spirit that's touching you and them is the same spirit. So it's like you've been brethren for a long time. You love each other right away because of the same spirit. It's the Father's spirit. It's holy. Okay? And that's the reason we can connect. We be distances away, and when we see each other, we love each other. And we don't have to try. It's just there, right? Am I bearing witness? It's just there because of the Spirit of the Father. It's an eternal spirit of holiness, brethren. Okay, and he give it to us so that we can share it with each other. That's why when we get together in fellowship, man, it's always sweet. It's always sweet. And when there's a person among us that's not with it, it stands out. You can see it. it stands up. You can know. Okay? You can know. Okay? When there's an unbeliever, you can feel it because the oneness is not there. There's a discord, right? But when we're all, and that's what's coming. See, brethren, all of us are coming and growing in the Father's Spirit. We're all respecting and reading his word, correct? We're all asking him for his righteousness. Are we not? We're asking him for his spirit. And because of that, we all come together. We no matter where we're from on this earth, no matter how we was raised, we feel the brotherhood and the sister. We feel it because of the same spirit. Okay, and that, brethren, is going to get stronger. This is what's called a what does Paul call it? He calls it in Ephesians, he calls it the earnest of the spirit. That means it's a deposit. It's like a down payment. It's not the full thing yet. When we get to the kingdom and we're all on the dinner table with Messiah and all the saints, we're going to have the full thing. But right now, it's a foretaste. It's a taste. And as we get closer to the seal that we're going to all receive, brethren, it's going to be more fullness. And it's got nothing to do with money, right? No money, no material objects. It's all spirit. It's all spirit. That's why the 4 beasts and the 24 elders can continually cry, holy, 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 because they're right there in the Father's presence. That is why when Zechariah doubted the word of the Most High, Gabriel said, I am Gabriel that stand in the presence of Yah. He said, I ain't no ordinary person. He said, I am Gabriel that stand in the presence of Yah. You see, brethren, to be in Yah's presence. It's like, so if you've ever had the blessing of fellowship with like-minded brethren, if you've been together, you know what I'm saying when I say you don't want to part, right? You just want that to last. You want to stay there because it's just sweet. It doesn't matter what you're talking about. You're together and it's the same spirit of the Father and you're feeling that. My wife and I have been blessed. You know, this is one of the things of being in the ministry. This is one of the great blessings of being with brethren that are in the faith of righteousness and of the Father's Spirit, that are also appreciative of his word and want more. And brethren, you just can stay together. You know, you don't want to leave each other. Well, brothers and sisters, this is a foretaste. That's what happens when people and beings are in the presence of the Father. He has to command them to leave. I need you to go do this, because they would never leave. He has to say, I want you to go do this, Gabriel. I got a mission for you, Gabriel. Go to Daniel or go to Elizabeth and Zechariah. I need you to go. Otherwise, they would never leave his presence. He has to command them to leave. He called Moses and he told Moses, go down. If he didn't tell Moses that, Moses would stay there. He was there for 40 days, more than a month. No food, no water, and would have never left if he didn't have to. That's how we get when we fellowship together. We just get a small taste of it. But brethren, it's going to get stronger. And that's the blessing of being obedient to the Father and being one in this holiness. So when we're talking about Romans chapter 7, the apostle first starts off in this little section, as we saw, telling us how an adulterous woman cannot be an adulteress, because if her husband died and she was with another man, she's not an adulteress, because she can't be accused of adultery. She's not guilty of adultery if her husband's dead. But if her husband's alive and she goes and she has sex with another man, she is an adulteress because her husband's alive, and the law comes down on her because she's guilty, right? So that you and I now are also being put to death through the sacrifice of sin for Messiah. So because he sacrificed himself for our sin is put to death, so that we're not under the penalty of sin, because Father has given us his own perfect righteousness by grace. Because we repented of our sin, we come to our Father in the name of the high priest, Messiah. And Messiah goes to the Father on our behalf as the Son of Man and speaks your name and says, I paid their penalty, Father. My blood on them. Clean now. Holiness to the Most High. And he draws us. And remember what we said last night. As he knew Messiah from before the earth was made, brethren, he knew your name before you were created. He knew that he was going to call you. In the universal picture, he knew you were being brought forth at this time. In the universal picture, you have a place, and he already knew that place. He's already got a crown for you. He's already got your robe prepared. He's already ready for you before you knew him. So don't ever think that you're losing favor with the Father because you sinned. He already knew that. What he's looking for and what the devil hates is our repentance toward the Father. You see the difference between us and everyone else is the Father's with us. And why he's with us is because we're repentant toward him and we honor him and give him glory and tell him you are right. We don't deserve anything. And because of that, he blesses us. Okay. The proud, people that are proud, they ain't going to admit to no wrongdoing. The devil ain't admitting to no wrongdoing. They will follow the doctrine of man as God, and they will be faithful to man. They're going to be faithful. Oh, yeah. Man's institutions, oh, people will die for man's institutions. But we will die for Father Yah. And he will bring us back from death because as it cannot hold Messiah, it cannot hold us. Okay? Praise Yah. So that's what makes us one with him, and that's what makes his law one with us. And now the apostle is going to use the rest of chapter 7 to explain what I just said to you. Okay? Explain what I just said to you. Junior says, my concern is those elects that turn back. This is the thing. Let me show you something from the word of the Most High. Let me show you something from the word of the Most High. Let's look at 1 John. 1 John. Right before Revelation, 1 John. First John. Okay, watch this. 1 John chapter 2. 1 John chapter 2. I'm going to read 1 John chapter 2 from verse 18, 19, and 20. 1 John chapter 2 from verse 18, 19, and 20. 1 John 2, 18, 19, and 20. Watch this one. Little children. Remember now, John is writing to Hebrews. Okay? Little children, it is the last time. As ye have heard that Antichrist shall come, even now there are many Antichrists, whereby we know that it is the last time. They went out from us. He's talking about Hebrews. He said, they went out from us, but they were not of us. For if they had been of us, they would no doubt have continued with us. But they went out, that they might be made manifest that they were not all of us. But we have an unction from the Holy One, and ye know all things. The people that leave us were never one with us. They might have appeared to be, but the people that are going to be one with the Father won't leave the Father. Just as the 24 elders and the 4 beasts will never leave the Father unless they're commanded to go, so us, the people that are among us that are receiving the Father's Spirit in real, are never going to leave the Father. He has called us to himself. But there are always going to be Judases. And Judases, as the first Judas, will be made manifest. You don't have to worry about them. Messiah knew who Judas was when he first saw him. He knew who he was. In fact, he said, have not I chosen you 12 and one of you is a devil? He knew exactly who he was. And he knew exactly what he was going to do. But he didn't say anything because later on, it would be made manifest. Brothers and sisters, those that are the traitors, the sellouts, the Judases, you don't have to worry about them. Our focus is only on the Father and on his Spirit, and we'll feel the oneness among each other. they will be made manifest. And they're not going to stop the work of the Father. They're not. Just as Judas could not stop what Father was doing through Messiah. He couldn't stop it. Judas just condemned himself. In fact, the Messiah said, it would be better for that man if he hadn't been born. And that obviously is the truth. For the Judases, for the sellouts, for those people that are in the earth and they're supposed to be among us, don't have to worry about them. It'd been better for them if they had not been born. So we don't have to worry about them. They're going to be causing some of us to be arrested. They're going to be causing some of us to be put to death. They're going to be doing all of that. It's all good, though. It'd have been better for them that they had not been born. Because at the end of it, brothers and sisters, listen, not too long from now, we're going to be standing on the sea of glass. Some of us with palms in our hands, some of us with harps in our hands. We're going to be standing on the sea of glass. It's not going to be that much longer, brethren. We're going to then continue to live forever. And for the people that rose up against us, for the people that played like they were on our side and they were turncoats and Judases, it would be better for them if they had not been born. Okay, so don't worry about the sellouts. They're always going to be there, brethren. You know, it's like in every party, in every place, cops have people there. You know, whenever there were sellouts among him that were posing as his people. Elijah Muhammad, same thing. Fred Hampton, same thing. Same thing. There's always going to be a sellouts among us. It's all good. But, you know, Ananias and Sapphira were sellouts. And it was made manifest. You don't have to worry about it. They can only hide, but for so long. The Spirit of the Father is an eternal spirit. It sees everything. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to accuse anyone. They will reveal themselves in time. All we have to do is remain faithful to the Father and faithful to his word. He will take care of Judas. See, Messiah didn't tell the rest of the disciples, this is a turncoat right here. Get rid of him. He didn't say that. He didn't say that. He said, have not I chosen you 12? And one of you's a devil. And then he said, it'd be better for that man. He said, Messiah is going to be, you know, he's going to be betrayed into the hands of sinners. But woe unto the man that betrays him. It'd be better for that man if he had not been born. To have Messiah say that about a person? Ooh. Okay. And that's what he said about Judas. It'd be better for that man if he had not been born. Brothers and sisters, it's the same with us. Our focus is on the Father's glory. Always the Father's glory. As long as your focus is on the Father's glory and you're understanding like Jacob, I don't deserve any of this truth he's shown me. He don't owe me nothing. This is my situation. Please deliver me. Please deliver me, Father. Father, for your glory. As long as that's the case, nothing to concern yourself with. Because he's leading you where you're supposed to go. Like now he's leading us to Florida. And there's nothing the enemy can do to stop that. We're going to Florida. Okay? That's an example. He's sending us there. Period. Oh, we get in opposition. Oh, yeah. But it don't matter. I'm going to end up where his word has told me to be. Right? I'm going to end up where he spoke me to be. Same with you. You pray to your Father. It's not about what you want. And you don't care about that because you want what? The Father's glory. So it's about what does Father want? And believe me, if you're one with the Father and his Son, one in the Spirit, there is nothing on this whole planet that can stop you from being where his word said you should be. And from doing what his word said you're going to do. And from becoming one with him. Nothing can stop that. Okay? Praise the Most High. But that's what it is. So, brothers and sisters, there's always going to be turncoats. Don't even act like it's not going to happen. Don't be surprised when you see it happen. Brothers and sisters, there's always going to be turncoats. There's always going to be turncoats. You don't have to worry about that. The Father will take care of that. We don't have much time, brethren. 10 years, I'm telling you, on the outside. This ain't going to last much longer. And so because of that, brothers and sisters, he's going to take care of all this business. Our goal is to become one. And brothers and sisters, just imagine, we fellowship here. We can meet in a restaurant, meet in somebody's house, and it's sweet, man. But can you imagine when we're on the sea of glass with the Father and with Messiah and all the saints from all the ages, and we're giving praise? So look, that's where we're headed. Just remember that. That's where we're headed. Okay? There's no power available to stop that from happening. Why? Because the Father already spoke it. He already spoke it. So it's going to happen. Praise the Most High. Okay? Especially you brothers out there. Y'all are the ones. Just remember that. Because the Father is going to lead you to start teaching his word. Some of y'all already done been through it once and going through it the second or the third time. Keep reading the word, brethren. Start in Genesis and finish in Revelation. He's going to continue to guide you, and he's going to bless you. And his word has spoken you into existence. He has spoken your ministry into existence, and he's going to use you. We got to go through some stuff. Some of y'all know. Like I said, we got to go through stuff, man. We got to be tried. Part of the process. But it's all good. At the end, we're going to be where Father's word said we're going to be. From before we were existing, he already called us and knows where we're going to be. And as the earth is spinning and the stars are spinning, we're going to end up in the spot we're supposed to be from before the foundation of the world. We're going to be where exactly we're supposed to be. Okay? Just continue to seek the glory of the Father. That's your North Star, as it were. He will continue to guide you and put you in places where he has ordained for you to be. Don't worry. Okay? That's what Messiah kept telling us. Don't fear. Fear not. That's what he said, right? Fear not. Don't worry. So here in Romans chapter 7, the apostle is now going to explain why the law is holy, but we are not, and how the Father planned on dealing with that. Okay, so let's look at this in Romans chapter 7. We finished at verse 7, so we're going to start at verse 7. I'm going to read right now from verse 7 down to verse 14. Romans chapter 7, from 7 to 14. What shall we say then? Is the law sin? Yah forbid. Nay, I had not known sin but by the law. For I had not known lust except the law had said, thou shalt not covet. But sin, taking occasion by the commandment, wrought in me all manner of, and it says here, big word, concupiscence. Concupiscence. Now that is a different, it's like, what's the translation here? It's a desire that's apart from holiness. Concupiscence, that is something desired that's not of the Most High, right? It wrought in me all manner of concupiscence. For without the law, sin was dead. For I was alive without the law once, but when the commandment came, sin revived and I died. So the commandment points to our transgression, which condemns us, okay? And the commandment, which was ordained to life, I found to be unto death. So the commandment was ordained to life, for us to not worship another God, but the only true God, Yahweh. That's life, right? For us to be one with him, not to have another image, not to take his name to us in vain, to keep the Shabbat is a blessing to us. For us to love our parents and our brothers as ourselves is a blessing. That what the commandment was given for, to teach us to love the Father and to love each other. That was the commandment was given for, to show us the example of righteousness. But because we are unrighteous, because we are unholy, because we are natural born sinners, the law is against us. He said, the commandment which ordained to life, I found to be unto death, because my spirit and that is two different things. Okay. Verse 11, for sin taken occasion by the commandment deceived me, and by it slew me. Wherefore the law is holy, See, wait, verse 12. Wherefore the law is holy, and the commandment is holy and just and good. What do we say about the Father? Is he holy? Yes. Is he just? Yes. Is he good? Yes. So his law is holy and just and good. He is holy and just and good. Well, what is he trying to do? He's trying to make you and me into holy and just and good through Messiah, who is holy and just and good. Okay, let's continue. Verse 13. Was then that which is made death unto me, which was then that which is good made death unto me? Again, he's kind of asking the same question. Is the law sin? Yah forbid. But sin, that it might appear sin, working death in me by that which is good, that sin by the commandment might become exceeding sinful. So the sin that's in me is highlighted by the holiness of Yah's law. Does that make sense? So the sin that's in us, the sin that we are natural, is highlighted by the holiness of Yah's law, so that Yah's holiness makes manifest to us our sinful nature and condition. Is it the law's fault? No. Right? It's not the law's fault. The problem not with the law. It's holy and just and good. No, the problem's with me. And I don't like that law because it make me look bad. You see what I'm saying? You making me look bad. Well, Father said, you are bad. But most people don't want to admit that. That's where you get Christianity from. And it's unrepentance toward breaking Yah's law. Instead, they say the problem's with the law. It's them 670 laws that y'all got to keep. That's the problem. No, that's not the problem. I'm the problem, right? I need a cleansing. I need to get this stink off me. I need a different spirit. There's no problem. I need to be in harmony with that holiness that's Yah's law. But I'm not. In fact, Yah and his law making me look bad. That's how Satan looks at it. That's why Satan says, you ain't to obey him. You can be your own God, and you can look good being your own God. Isn't that what he said? You can look good being your God. You can create your own holiness. You can create your own religion. You can make beautiful buildings and statues and pictures. You can make it awe-inspiring. And it's all man. You don't have to repent to know God. You're the God. Your institution is the God. Your government is the God. See? But the true repentant one says, no, Yahweh is the only God. The problem is with me. I need to go to him to find out how to get rid of this problem. Verse 14, Romans 7:14. For we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin. There it is, brother. The law is spiritual. It's holy and just and good. It's a different spirit. It's a spirit of sinlessness. It's a spirit of holiness, opposite of me. Because I'm carnal. I'm in the flesh. I can't even conceive of holiness. And when I see it, I don't like it because it makes me look bad. When I see holiness, I don't like it. It makes me look bad. That's how our spirit is. That's what we are naturally. Okay. Now, verse 15. For that which I do, I allow not. For what I would, that do I not. But what I hate, that do I. So now we're aware the problem is not with the law. We're aware that the things that we shouldn't do is what we do. How we shouldn't think is how we think. And we're aware that it's wrong. This is called what? Conviction. Caught that? This is called conviction. So the Father's Spirit is talking to us. And now we are aware. What are we aware of? We're not living right. We're not in the spot we're supposed to be ordained to be in. We're not doing what we know to be right. And we try, but we keep failing. Like, I want to do what's right, but I keep failing, man. And that's when I hear some awakened Hebrews say, I'm trying to keep this law. See, that's the problem. You trying to keep this law. You have been aware that the law is holy and just and good, but you're not yet aware how you can be made holiness. It's not by a long beard. It is not by putting tassels on your skirt. It is not what kind of clothes you wear. You need a new spirit. Need a whole new spirit, and you don't have it, and you got a problem, and now you're aware that you have a problem. That's conviction. Praise Yah for the conviction, brethren. That's why somebody said, I've had many people ask me over the years, I'm afraid I've committed the unpardonable sin. They'll say to me, I'm afraid I've committed. No, you know how I know you didn't commit the unpardonable sin? Because you are convicted of it. See, the person that really commits the unpardonable sin will sin against Father and feel no conviction. That's the problem. Because without conviction, what does that mean? That means his spirit is not reaching you anymore. See, when the spirit of the Father stops reaching us, that's when you're done. Because there's no more conviction and there's no more repentance. And you're seeing that every day out here in the world. There are people every day that go past the point where Father can reach them anymore. They're past that point. They're not feeling conviction about murdering, killing, robbing, stealing. They're not feeling conviction about causing millions of people to die by a disease they created or by a drug they created. They don't care. They have no care about that. That's done. Those people are done. And your leadership in all areas, politics, religion, and business, their leadership is done. They don't care about you. And any manifestation that they might is fake. You think Bill Gates cares about you? He don't care about you. Elon Musk don't care about you, except you worship them, except you glorify them. They don't care about you. Y'all need to realize these politicians could care less. Power is all they care about. Money and power is the only thing. See, so when you get to that point, you're done, man. If you are convicted that you need to obey the Father, if you are convicted that you know you and the Father are not one, but praise Yah, that's him talking to you. That's him reaching you. That's you understanding, I got a problem. That's you understanding that. Hey, listen, even with drug addicts and NA and alcoholics in Alcoholics Anonymous, what's the first thing they have to? I am an alcoholic. I am a drug addict, right? Isn't that the first thing they tell you in those 10 steps, 12 steps, whatever they are? I'm sorry, but the first thing, you stand up and you say, I'm an alcoholic. Why? Because prior to that, you kept saying, I don't have a problem. I got it under control. Isn't that right? Isn't that what they say? Oh, no. I ain't no alcoholic. I got it under control. I ain't no crackhead. I got it under control. I can stop whenever I want. The first way to overcome is to say, yeah, I'm a crackhead. Yeah, I'm a drug addict. And I'm going to get high today unless I get help. That's the first thing, right? And that's what causes those programs to be successful, because it induces the person that needs the help to admit, I'm in trouble. Well, brothers and sisters, it's the same with sin. The only difference is what happens now, you got a myriad of choices that give you man-made solutions to your problem of sin. Join the church, return your tithe, come back to the church, go to the mosque, go to the synagogue. That's how you can overcome your sin. Pray 5 times a day toward this pile of bricks in Saudi Arabia. That's how you can overcome. You have a myriad of choices. That's everything but I can't help myself. I can't do it. I can't change my spirit to holiness. Everything but that. But the true power comes when we say, I am in sin and I'm convicted that I'm in sin and there's nothing I could do about it. I'm going to keep sinning unless Father helps me. I'm going to keep doing it. You know, when I was determined to commit adultery, and it was about 20 years ago, for real, I was determined to commit adultery. You think I'm not lying to you? I wanted to get in some other woman's stuff just to experience it. That's where I was. But I was smart enough or blessed enough. I got on my knees and I said, Father, unless you stop me, I'm going to do this because this is what I want to do. I said it. And I said it every day. Unless you stop me, I'm going to do this. And he kept stopping me until the day came when one of the women said to me, what are you doing? You don't belong here. We're all lost souls out here doing adultery and you don't belong here. And that moment it hit me and the spirit flew off me and I didn't want it anymore. That's the truth. Okay. That's the truth. I had to say to Father, I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to end up doing this unless you stop me. And he stopped me. Brethren, we're going to keep sinning unless Father's Spirit changes us. Period. That's just how it is. Okay? There you go. And each of us have choices to make like that. Each of us. And when you make a choice to glorify your Father in heaven, brethren, it all changes, man. The whole thing is this process, though, but it does change, man. It's a process because most of this earth could care less about the Creator. Could care less. Whatever aspect it is, religious aspect, business aspect, political aspect, whatever aspect it is, most of this world could care less. They give 10 times more credence to a man-made solution than to the not man-made solution, to the supernatural solution of Father Yah. They will change Messiah, create religions, do whatever is necessary to avoid that. Because that gives Father glory when you're surrendered to him. And so he said, that what I want to do, I don't do it. He's admitting, he's saying, I'm feeling conviction, he's saying, because I know I want to do right and I can't. I don't have that strength. He's admitting that. I don't have the power. That which I want to do, I don't do. That's which I know is bad, I do that. And I don't want to do this, but this is what I'm going to keep doing. Unless something happens to change it. Now, Romans chapter 7, verse 16 and 17. If then I do that which I would not, I consent unto the law that it is good. So if I'm convicted, once the conviction, in your conviction, you're saying, okay, Father's right. I'm messed up. Right? That's right. In your conviction, that's what you're saying. Father's right. I'm messed up. I'm messed up. Okay. Verse 17. Now then, it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. So now when you come to the convicting part and you say, Father's right. Then, you know, I'm messed up. I'm going to keep sinning. I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to keep being what I am until he changes me. Now you realize it's now a choice you're making. You're making a choice for the Father, but your spirit is not of your choice anymore. You got a spirit in you. You're recognized. He says, sin dwelleth in me. That's my spirit now. I need a new spirit. Otherwise, I'm going to keep doing the same thing. Brothers and sisters, remember this. Whenever you're doing that, what you know is wrong, it's a spirit. Holiness and righteousness is a spirit. Obedience is a spirit. And disobedience is a spirit. The Bible calls it the spirit of disobedience. That's a spirit. And we naturally receive that spirit. So when we know we want to do what is right, we need a new spirit. And so we ask the Father, I need a new spirit. I don't want this other spirit anymore. I need your spirit. And it's a terrific battle, brethren, because you know why? Because Asatan now says, oh, it's like the crack dealer that got the crackhead. He said, look, man, you just another one of my crackheads. Anytime I throw a bag at you, you're going to do what I ask you to do. And unless you have a new spirit, that crack dealer is telling the truth, is they not? Right? That dealer in opioids is telling the truth. Oh, you're going to do what I tell you to do. Because you're just a drug addict, just a crackhead. You're going to do what I tell you to do. And that's what Asatan says. When we come to the Father, he tells our angel, they're going to do exactly what I tell them to do. I ain't worried about you. But when we come to the Father and the Spirit is coming to us from the Father, Asatan is scared. You know, bullies, when they're really scared, they won't show you they're scared because that's a weakness, right? So if you stand up to a bully and you're ready to fight back, the bully will back off, but he ain't going to show you he's scared, right? He ain't going to show you he's scared, but he is. And that's how Satan operates. Okay? That's how he operates. He is really scared. That's why the Bible says resist the devil and he will flee from you, because he don't want you to see that he's scared, that he's really a coward. And so when you get the power from the Father of the Holy Ghost, brethren, and you ask for that Spirit and you confess your sin, you got power now. And once you overcome one sin, wherever it is, once you overcome it, then now you know you have evidence that there's nothing that can stop you. And one thing at a time is being revealed and then moved. Father reveals it and moves it. So he reveals to you something that's stopping you from becoming oneness with him. And now you have the choice. Do I give this to the Father or do I hang on to it? Boom. And he'll let you deal with it. He's not going to rush you. Father don't do that. But he waits for you because his word has been spoken and he already knows what he's called you to be. Okay? So it's like in basketball, right? Or in boxing. Let's say boxing. You get two dudes boxing. And the first dude comes out in the first round. He's bashing the dude, bashing him, hitting him. And you say, oh, shoot, he's going to lose. But it's a 15-round fight. You get to the 6th or 7th round and the dude that he was bashing is still there. Now he's coming back at him. And just because you thought in the beginning he was getting bashed and beaten, he was going to lose. No, now the longer he stays in the fight, the more, you ever see that? Now that the tide is turning. Okay, the tide is turning. And all of a sudden, it's a different fight. And the guy that was on defense is now the victor because he stayed in the fight. So at first, you might see, man, ain't nothing changed. I'm still weak. No, just keep going to the Father. A change has come. You've already called on that. You've already called on it. That's right. Don Hines. I heard about that already. People, I could tell because people were sending me emails last night. Oh, Grimes is going to stink. Oh, him and McBride no good because of the first whatever minutes of the game. And then later on, everybody's like, oh, man, them cats could play. I didn't see the game, but people be sending me messages, man. And I already know because people overreact. Don't overreact. It's a long game, brother. It's a long game. Father already called you before you existed for victory. When you are just responding, recognizing his call, you are just responding. And he has your victory already set. Satan don't want you to see that. This is where what? Faith comes in. You've called on the Father. You've asked him for the Spirit. Believe it. Don't look at what it looks like now. Understand that the day is coming that you're going to get the victory. That's faith. Faith, the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. That's why it's called faith. So when you call on the Father for his Spirit and you recognize that you're in trouble, he's going to give you the victory. It's not even a question. The victory is yours. It's just a time frame for you to manifest it. It's just a time frame. It's only a matter of time. Okay? Once you call on Father Yah and Messiah through Father Yah through the Messiah Hawashai, and you ask for the victory that you know that you don't have, he gives it to you. And now the rest of the time, Satan's trying to make you not believe that you have the victory. He's talking to you. He gets other people to talk to you. He's being negative at you. But the Father is teaching you to depend on the promises of his word above anything you hear or feel. Okay, above anything you hear from, he wants you to. That's why, what did it say? Man does not live by bread only, but by every word of Yahweh doth man live. Because we are looking at the word and trusting the Father's Spirit. And we got the victory once we do that. It's just a matter of time. And it's a battle because we have to get to the point where we are manifesting that victory by faith. And then the enemy is mad because he's scared. He's really scared of the Father's power, as he should be. He's scared of the Father's power. Even Moses at Mount Sinai, remember what it said in Hebrews? He said, I exceedingly fear and quake. Satan don't want no parts of our cousin. He don't want no parts of our cousin. I'm trying to tell y'all, he don't. But once we realize that, and we go past what we're feeling to trust the word of the Most High, to trust our cousin's victory, then brothers and sisters, it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time. Okay, praise the Most High. We give praise to it. Okay, now let's continue. Romans chapter 7. Romans chapter 7, beginning at verse 18 and going down to verse 21. For I know that in me, that is, in my flesh, dwelleth no good thing. For to will is present with me, but how to perform that which is good I find not. For the good that I would, I do not. But the evil which I would not, that I do. Now, if I do that which I would not, it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. I find then a law that when I would do good, evil is present with me. He's not talking about Yah's law. This is the law of man's flesh. That's the law he's talking about. He said, I find then a law that when I want to do good, I do evil. That's the law he's talking about. It's the law of sin and death, he calls it later. Some people get it confused and think he's talking about the 10 Commandments. The 10 Commandments is not a law of sin and death. He's already explained it's holy, just, and good. So it's not the law of sin and death. That's the law that manifests in us that says, I want to do good, but I can't. I want to do what's right. I want to stop doing wrong. I want to stop saying bad things. I want to stop making bad actions, but I can't. That's the law of sin and death. Okay? That's the law of sin and death. Okay? And we're against Father's law, and we are obedient to the law of sin and death. That's why we need a new spirit. We need a new spirit. And that's why Messiah said, unless a man is born of the spirit and the water, he cannot see the kingdom. You need a new spirit to overcome. He that worships the Father must worship him in spirit and in truth. So we acknowledge the truth and we come to the Father through Messiah for his spirit. And he give us that, and the victory is ours then. Okay? We just got to keep one victory at a time. Each thing. He brings us to forks in the road, and we have chosen wrong before. He brings us back to that same fork for us to make the right choice. And then once we make the right choice, it was as if the wrong choices never existed. That's where Messiah comes in, is that the wrong choices never existed. So that you look in your books in heaven and you know you made bad choices and you can't find them. Why? Because Messiah blood covered it. His righteousness is in place of it. Because one point he brought you to the right spot and you made the right choice by his spirit. Now, the wrong choice never appears again. As if it never happened. That's why he says in the kingdom, it shall not be remembered nor come to mind. Your books are going to be clean and you're going to know I did something wrong. I know I did. Where? Angel going to say, I don't see nothing in here. You're in the book of life. I don't see anything wrong. Praise the Most High. That's the message of the Father's righteousness. That's right. Praise the Most High. So now, verse 22 down to verse 25. For I delight in the law of Yah after the inward man, but I see another law in my members. See? In my members, warring against the law of my mind and bringing me into captivity to the law of sin, which is in my members. That's in my flesh. I have the law of sin and I'm in captivity to it. I can see the spirit I could see the benefits. I could see the blessing of the holiness of Yah. But now I know that that's not me. What now? Okay, verse 24. Oh, wretched man that I am, who shall deliver me from the body of this death? I thank Yah through Yahushua the Messiah, our master. So then with my mind, I serve the law of Yah, but with my flesh, the law of sin. And then let's just start at verse 1 of chapter 8. We'll stop here. But there is therefore now no condemnation to them that are in the Messiah, Yahushua, who walk not after the flesh, but after the Spirit. So now you've requested of Father a spirit, a different spirit through Messiah, a spirit of righteousness to take the place of the spirit of sin. And he gives it to you. And you have been given the victory. So now you're not walking in your spirit. That's why some of you who got baptized know, what do we quote? Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in Yahweh with all thine heart, and lean not to thine own understanding. In all thy ways, acknowledge him, and he shall direct your path, right? Because that's what we're doing now. We want to glorify the Father. It's a different spirit. He's forgiven us through Messiah. He's making us one in his spirit of holiness with Messiah, with his word, with the covenant. He's making us one. And so now, because of that, in everything we do and everything we're planning, we're acknowledging the Father. And we're asking him, according to your will be done. Your will be done. Not my will, your will be done. I want to do this, Father, but your will be done. That's a whole different thing. And now you got a whole different book. Now you have victory over all your sin. This is the manifestation of the victory over all your sin. Okay, one sin, one victory at a time. You're going to get brought back to decisions you made that were wrong decisions. You're going to get another opportunity to make the right decision, because now you're with the Father. You're claiming to follow him in all things, and he's going to bring you to that decision point. You make the right decision now. The wrong one goes away. Okay? The crack dealer will come at you. Oh, I remember you. Oh, you look all cleaned up now. Let's go get high. No, thank you. I got to go. What you mean? I got to go. No, thank you. Let's go have a drink. Remember that bar? No, thank you. But you used to drink till you were... No, thank you. I'm good. I got to go. See you, bro. See you, man. It was all good, but I got to go. See? Those decisions are now new decisions that you're making for the Father. Okay? Person comes to you. Oh, me and you used to be hot and heavy. Are you still with so-and-so? Yeah, I'm still with so-and-so. Man, boy, we really had a good time. Remember what we did? Yeah, that was before. I got to go. Got to go. No more. Now you're making the right decision. Okay? And every one of us has decisions that Father's going to bring us to, so that we get the victory. That's how you get the victory. The victory has to be marked in the book. So therefore, you got to be brought back to the point where you made the wrong decision before, and now you make the right one, and it's marked. It's in your book. Okay? It's marked in your book. You got to make the right one. So you're going to get opportunities. Don't worry. Father's going to give you opportunities to make decisions. And he's going to show you what the path is that you should choose. It is up to you to choose it. Whereas before you would have chosen the wrong way. But now, because of the Spirit, you're going to choose the right way. And it's going to be marked. And you're going to give praise to the Most High Father, because you knew that he brought you back there to bless you. Praise the Most High. There you go. Okay? Praise Yah. Praise Yah. Isn't it wonderful, man? Plan that the Father has, that we can be righteousness unto him. Beautiful, man. See how this has nothing to do with putting away Yah's law? Nothing. It's about victory. It's about harmony with Yah in his law. See? And this is what the Apostle Paul is teaching our fathers, who are our brothers, who are not bloodline, but our brothers. And he's also teaching us, because why? Because we done forgot who we were. Yeah, he would have forgot who we were. Junior said, his daughter, grandpa passed. He purposely started himself as a bad thing. I don't know. Junior, honestly, it's not for me to judge. It's not for me. I can't judge what a person does like that in that scenario. I don't know what that person was dealing with, right? I don't know what their mental makeup was. I don't know anything about their history. That's for the Father, you know. Yeah, I hope I'm answering you properly, but I'm trying to just express it's not for me to make that judgment. It's for the Father to make that judgment. It's for me to judge what I do with the Father problem. Right? Yeah, I can't, person that asks to be put to sleep because they're in pain, I don't feel their pain. I can't make a judgment, like that. Yes, Brother Hines, it's taught in Ezekiel, Ezekiel chapter 36. It's Ezekiel chapter 37. It's Jeremiah chapter 30. It's Jeremiah chapter 29. It's Isaiah chapter 10 and 11. It's taught in a lot of places. Isaiah chapter 65, 64, 65, and 66. Zechariah chapter 3, we just read yesterday. It's taught there. It's in a lot of places. It's in a lot. It's all over the Old Testament. Just people don't recognize it because they don't understand the gospel of righteousness, the message of righteousness. They don't understand that. And that's why the Apostle Paul is brought forth to explain that, what it is to be justified or declared innocent. Okay, what it is. One of my favorite ones is actually Isaiah chapter 45, I believe it is. Let me find it. Let me see here. One of my favorite ones. I love the way this is Isaiah chapter 45. Look at this. Isaiah and Psalm 71. There's a lot of them, but Isaiah chapter 45. If you look under Isaiah 45 and look at verse 24 and 25, Isaiah 45, 24 and 25, just off the top of my spirit, I just, there's a lot of them, but I'm just, there's multiple witnesses. Okay. But here, and this is where Paul gets all of his doctrines. Those doctrines we're just reading about Romans didn't just come from Paul. They came from all of these prophets. He's just manifesting them in the way the Most High wants us to see them. Here you go in Isaiah 45, 24 and 25. Surely shall one say, in Yahweh have I righteousness and strength. Even to him shall men come, and all that are incensed against him shall be ashamed. In Yahweh shall all the seed of Israel be justified and shall glory. See, that's the gospel right there. That's it. Praise the Most High. There it is. See, and I could go all day. We could go all day on this one. Really, seriously, we can go all day. It's all in all the prophets. People just don't see it because we're so used to thinking of New Testament, Old Testament, two separate gods, two separate things, but it's all one, which is why we say what? Start at Genesis, read through the Revelation with prayer, and when you're finished, do it again. Okay? Praise the Most High. Read his word. It's all there. We've just been brainwashed and blinded, all of us, by Christianity, by Islam. We've been brainwashed. Praise Yah. But the Most High's power of his spirit breaks through all brainwashing. Praise the Most High. Yeah, breaks through it to give us the victory. Why? Because it's time. It's time. It's time, brethren. It's almost over now. He's waking us up, preparing us. It's time. It's time. Praise the Most High, Yah. Okay. Praise Yah. Shabbat Shalom. And may the Most High bless you and keep you. May he cause his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. And may he lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Shalom.